The Freaky Friday sequel is here, but is it worth the watch? Listen, I was a big fan of the 2003 Freaky Friday. I grew up in this era, so you can take it from me when I say, yeah, it's pretty good. I'll preface this by saying, yes, I did get invited to the premiere of the film, but this will still be a very balanced review, don't worry. In this sequel, Anna is in her mid-30s and has a teenager of her own, but she's getting remarried to another parent whose child does not get along with Anna, leading to a four-way body swap. We get hilarious performances throughout, Chad Michael Murray especially. I'm very aware that 60% of the audience that's gonna watch this movie are just Chad Michael Murray fans. I can confirm he's great in this film. But honestly, the MVP for me was Julia Butters, who does a surprisingly good impression of her on-screen mum. The soundtrack's gonna get a lot of praise. It's filled with songs either from the 2000s or modern day songs that make you feel like you're a kid again in the 2000s. Now, I can't lie, the film does suffer from the same pitfalls that a lot of legacy sequels do, namely that it struggles to decide who it's trying to entertain, the fans of the original film who are now in their 20s or 30s, or the new Gen A kids of today. Not all of the body swaps felt like accurate performances too. It's a little thing that bugged me, but take Jamie Lee Curtis and Sophia for example. They gave good performances in the swap, but it wasn't of each other. Like, I didn't buy that they swapped bodies, and maybe I'm being picky. Not all of the comedy worked for me. It was funny, but it was edited in a really fast-paced way that really took a moment to let a joke land. It was just joke after joke after joke after joke. It's almost like the movie was supposed to be longer, and then some execs saw it and forced them to cut a bunch out to make it more digestible when it comes to streaming. You know, like every other movie this year for some reason. But by the end, it surprisingly hits you in the feels in a nice way. It probably has more of an emotional hit than the original did. All the nostalgia buttons were pressed with music from Pink Slip, callbacks to the original, Chad Michael Murray existing. The man is the human embodiment of the 2000s. Look, legacy sequels can feel cringe when they try to modernize it too much. And don't get me wrong, there are splashes of cringe in here. And to answer what I'm sure you're about to ask me, no, I don't think this one is better than the original, although that is a very high bar to clear. But it genuinely feels like the type of silly rom-coms that you get in the 2000s on DVD and then play it on loop when your cousins come over for a sleepover. And that is the nostalgia that this movie gives you. Not nostalgia in Easter eggs and returning characters, but nostalgia of vibes. I think most zillennials like me can tell you that the 2000s just felt like a simpler time. It's important to know that you can't go into Freakier Friday with cynicism. Jamie Lee Curtis herself described this movie as cinematic comfort food, and that's a perfect summary. This film, much like most 2000s rom-coms, is silly with a heartfelt message, bombastic set pieces with relatable characters. The 2000s were rebellious, colorful, and punk rock. And no, I'm not just saying that because Superman made it trendy to say, shut up. Don't take your boring film bro friends to see this. Much like reviewers of the 2000s, it's not gonna go down well with them. Take the friends you grew up with. This is a 2000s feel-good movie. It's summer, get some escapism and enjoy a silly little throwback. And that's the tea. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new here. You might enjoy some of my other videos and commentaries on other movie nerdy related things. I didn't want to be too harsh in this review. Don't get it twisted. This movie does have its flaws, and if people say they didn't like this film, I'm not gonna argue too much with that, but I want to set everyone's expectations. This is a film that's not trying to go too crazy and beyond. It's trying to just give you a good time. And I'm gonna leave you with this. Let me know in the comments, what was your favorite 2000s guilty pleasure movie? Not to say Freaky Friday was a guilty pleasure, but the 2000s had some bad ones. So let me know some of yours. And that's the tea.